The Washington Commanders have finally been sold, which means Dan Snyder is gone for good. And as a Washington fan, I can finally breathe happiness. You see, the Commanders will have a brand new quarterback start at the position this coming up season. Not only is he new, he was just a rookie last season. Sam Howell was drafted by Washington in the 2022 NFL Draft round 5. He got to play only in one regular game during the season, which ended up being the last game of 2022 against the Cowboys. Sam was great. Not only did he get his first win, but he completed 57.9% of his passes for 169 yards with 1 touchdown and 1 interception that night. Not bad at all for a first game. On top, Washington brought in a veteran guy during the offseason to back up and help Sam Howell, and that's Jacoby Brissett. He's here on a 1-year deal for $8 million, but we know the quarterback position has been a complete mess for Washington, and possibly we might have our guy now. Look, I understand it's too early to tell, but there are some dogs on this offense. First, we have to start with the new offensive coordinator, Eric Bieniemy. Washington had Scott Turner at the OC position. The guy is definitely one of the worst offensive coordinators. He was awful at calling plays. But Eric Bieniemy is a different story, and Washington fans are very excited about him. I mean, he spent a decade with Kansas City. During his time there, they went to 3 Super Bowls, but only won 2 and multiple playoff appearances. The great thing is, it doesn't end there. Terry McLaurin will be returning for his 5th season as wideout number 1, but he's been fabulous. In the last 3 years, he's had 1,000 yards receiving each season. During his rookie season, he did only have 919 yards, but with 7 touchdowns. And truly, there is a big chance that Sam Howell and Terry McLaurin could have a good connection. Another guy who's expected to have a good season is Jahan Dotson. Dotson was a rookie last season. Washington drafted him in the first round of the 2022 NFL Draft. He played college ball at Penn State. A lot of people didn't really know what to expect from him, but to be quite honest, I think he had a pretty solid season with 35 catches for over 500 yards and 7 touchdowns. He did miss a few games due to injuries, but I think he's going to have a big year in 2023 if he stays healthy. Curtis Samuel is returning as well. He finally seems to be healthy and had 656 yards last season. However, the Commanders have 2 very tough running backs. RB1 is Brian Robinson, who was a rookie last season. Robinson had an incident a week prior to the season opener in 2022. He got shot in the leg while somebody was attempting a robbery on him in Washington, D.C. He returned in week 5 and finished out the season amazingly with 797 rushing yards but 2 touchdowns. RB2 is Antonio Gibson. The great thing about Gibson, he's great at catching the ball from the backfield. Last season, he did have 56 catches for 353 yards and 2 touchdowns. Don't get me wrong, he's also great on the ground and finished in 2022 with over 500 yards with 3 touchdowns. But the one position I'll have my eyes on, and that's the offensive line. They weren't too great last season, but there are new players that joined, like the new starting right tackle Andrew Wiley and a new center Nick Gates. Also, Sam Cosmi will be starting at the right guard position. Sadiq Charles and Charles Leno Jr. are still there as well. The line does look improved and it looks a whole lot better than last season. Moving on the defense, well, hopefully they can start strong this coming up season. I mean, the defense wasn't horrible last season, but they did start out very slow and had some hiccups at times from the coaching side, calling plays that made no sense at times. But at least we'll see a full season of Chase Young. We haven't seen him play a full season since his rookie year, and this will be the season that he needs to shine. But at least they locked in Daron Payne during the offseason, a contract that runs up to 4 years worth up to $90 million. Of course, Jonathan Allen will be returning for his 7th season, and Montez Sweat will be returning for his 5th season. The player that I'm excited to watch on defense, and that's Jamin Davis. He actually got called out last season for playing not so good, but he did end up finishing out pretty strong. Matter of fact, the linebacker group will be just interesting to watch overall. Washington does have some exciting players in the secondary, with a new rookie cornerback, Emmanuel Forbes. Kendall Fuller is still there with Benjamin St. Juste, and then you have Cameron Curl with Derek Forrest, who both can hit hard hard. I personally like these two a lot. Washington is definitely up for a big ride. A lot has changed in the past few years in this franchise, and as a fan, I've been completely embarrassed. But finally, I might not be nervous anymore watching these games.
My neck, wrist, and my arm. Bitch, we some stars, pull up in foreign cars.